Alright, Aya is the leading vitamin and supplement brand for all the family and is delighted to announce a brand partnership with Irish Rugby International player Robbie Henshaw for 2023. Aya is committed to delivering only the highest quality food supplements and vitamins and to support health and well-being for all the family. Exclusive to Irish pharmacies, Aya is widely available across the country, and I'm delighted to be joined by Robbie Henshaw today. Robbie, how are you?
I'm good, thanks for having me.
Not at all. You're coming back from injury at the moment. When can we see you back on the pitch, or expect to?
Yeah, so it's things are going well. I'm potentially back to full contact in the next couple of weeks. Things are on track. Aiming to be, fit in about 2-3 weeks time. So we're hitting the right markers at the moment, and things are progressing.
I read that you were watching The Last Dance last year when you were feeling ill ahead of the game to Toulouse. Are you watching anything right now that's going to get you back in the swing of things?
I haven't really gone back to the sports doc, although I saw Netflix recently released a tennis kind of a documentary called Breakpoint, so I've started watching that, and it's pretty good to see kind of how the individual sports people in tennis operate, so it's fascinating.
You talked about last season and how you struggled with injuries at the start and then you aimed to bounce back and really finish strong. You've had a few issues this year. Are you planning on the same kind of trajectory for 2023?
Yeah, I think so. Last year was definitely stop-starty in terms of injuries for me, but going to look to last year and see how I went that way in terms of coming back and making sure I finish off the season strong. So a bit of a blip this season in the middle. Had a good strong start to the season, playing a good few games with Leinster at the start of the season. Then November I got stopped in my tracks a bit with the hamstring, but it's good starting the new year on a positive note, hopefully in the next few weeks, and build towards the end of the season.
Obviously yesterday, well, we're recording this on Friday, but the Ireland squad recently announced. You're not in it yet, but maybe more of that and on. But in the squad is Jamie Osborne, obviously a Leinster teammate of yours. First call up, you've played alongside him. Were you surprised that he got his call up this young?
No, absolutely not. I think we've seen the talent he is. We recognise him. Leinster brought him in training when he was just out of school as a 19-year-old. He's massive talent. So we've seen him on the training paddock the last few years, what he's able to do, and he's shown in his performance last week against Gloucester. It really showed he's capable of stepping up to the next level. So he's brilliant. I'm delighted for him. Yeah,
because a lot of people have made much of the fact that he's 21 years old. He's only had 28 appearances for Leinster. People think maybe it's just a little bit too soon, but I mean, you got your debut when you were 20 years old, if I'm right in thinking.
Yep.
And it took like a duck to water. So is it really is a youth a big factor, or is it when you're ready, you're ready?
Not necessarily. I think when you've been in the environment, which Jamie has been in and out training with Ireland, and he's played on the kind of emerging Ireland team as well, so he has experience in and around camp, and I don't think youth is a factor. I think it shows. If I remember someone used to say to me, if you're good enough, you're old enough. So I think he's shown that.
How do you cope with that step up from international level? Because it is a huge step up, and we've seen players who've just come in, had a few games with their province and gone all the way to the top. So how do you get that confidence and make sure you hit the ground running?
Yeah, it's about probably staying calm when you get your foot in the door. Things are definitely heightened in terms of pressure, your time on the ball, physicality, everything detailed. Things are definitely heightened and go to another level. So probably being calm and being able to, take what comes in your stride. So that'll be my way of looking at it. Not getting too obsessed with it either. Being able to, have fun along the way as well, I think is important.
Well, fun along the way is a good point, because sometimes I'd say you're half a mind of I need to impress and do something that's going to wow everybody, and another part is I don't want to say I just need to get through this, but you want to make sure you get through without making any mistakes. So is that a balance that's always in the back of your mind, or do you just play as part of the team?
I think off the pitch there's always great crack in the changing room, in the coffee room, around the dining table. So I think when you're the old saying, when you're on, you're on. So when you're on the pitch, you're on. When you're in the gym, you're on. But when you're off the pitch, that's when you can have a laugh, have the crack with the lads, but in a good way, that you're still getting work done around your analysis, around your getting with your other teammates, and making sure you're on top of your work and looking back at training and things like that.
Last season felt like a bit of a season of nearlies for both Leinster and Ireland. I mean, you lost the URC semi-final to the Bulls, came up just short against La Rochelle, and but for the kick of a ball against France, we might have won the Six Nations. So what does that do for 2022-23? Is that in the back of your mind that we nearly got there this year and there's a little bit more to do, or how does that affect you?
Yeah, I think last year was obviously there was fine margins, is what I'd call it, in terms of some of those top level games, like you alluded to, the La Rochelle game. Just little moments in the game that bounce of a ball, we could have won that game, literally. So I think, it just goes to show when you get to the top level, there's no real second chances. You don't have the time in the game. You don't have the chances. If you're given chances and you don't take them, it'll come back to bite you. So I think that's probably a learning from probably all of last season. The games we've played is probably not just that little bit of being clinical, missing that little bit, and then not having the time to make up for it.
Let's go back, because as I said, it's nearly 10 years since you made your Ireland debut. It's 11 years since I saw you first in a Schools Cup final against my beloved Sligo Grammar. You won that day, and
sorry about that.
Thank you. I was waiting for the apology. Thank you very much. But do you have fond memories of playing those Schools Cup games? Because I mean, they are a different kind of pressure, aren't they?
Absolutely. I did a recent interview for a Schools Cup spread, because I know the Cups is starting soon, and I just said it was one of my favourite periods of playing rugby. Was firstly, you're with your mates in school. Secondly, just so young, and for what we did in terms of winning the cup, it hadn't been done in 35 years. So that period of going through the year and playing well in the games, we had good challenges. We played away in Gloucester in a schools kind of competition. We came up to Blackrock and played the seconds team up here, which a young Gary Ringrose was playing 15 at the time. So there was great memories along the way, and definitely one of my favourite periods of my career, or just leading into my professional career, was that last year in school playing with my mates.
How does the pressure of playing in Eden Park or Twickenham compare with going up to Sligo to face the Grammar, or going down to Ballinasloe to face Garbally?
The pressure, not so much. I think the pressure of playing on a waterlogged pitch, or playing up muck up to your ankles, I think that brings on a different sort of pressure and a different game. So they're the memories that I'll want to forget, is playing those kind of, even the Maris, like the pitch, was hit and miss a lot of the times. Boggy enough stuff, but no, great crack.
Brilliant. When you got into the Connacht side, I heard recently that when you were just breaking in at like 1920, Dan Parks was a really big help and an assistant to you. What kind of stuff did he infuse you with in terms of confidence and helping you find your feet there?
I think Dan was brilliant. Firstly, he was such a big name to be signed in Connacht. He was the big name, the first big name who they'd signed, and you could see the minute he walked into the club, he led from the front. His energy in and around training, off the pitch, was second to none. Like, he's always in a good mood, real positive. And for me, he just kind of helped grow me, lead me into professional game. He helped my growth as a player, and I always. I'll always remember that, and I'm grateful for what he did for me in terms of that.
And do you feel you've an onus now to kind of mentor the younger players? I mean, you're a two-time Lion now at this stage. You've done pretty much everything there is to do in rugby. Or do you think I have no truck with that. I focus on my own game. You know, you just have to be a little bit selfish. Or how do you go about that?
No, definitely think there's an onus on the senior players to help the next generation, to help the younger guys coming through. But again, it's hard to step aside your own game and leave your own game and go to help someone else, in terms of you have a lot to think about as well. But I think it has to be from both sides. The younger guys need to be able to come and ask you things. I think that's key, and to come out of their shell, that's a big thing. But yeah, for me, it's a thing that I'll look to do in the next few years, is to sit down with the younger guys coming through.
Jack Hart was in that senior cup team as well, wasn't he? Or was he?
Jack was the year before.
Right.
Yeah.
So you would have played together, obviously, up and through senior cup and Connacht as well. You faced each other as well a few times, playing for Connacht and Leinster respectively. Are you trying to one up each other, or how does that dynamic work?
Yeah, it's I've played on the same team for Jack for most of my life. He's a great mate, and he's been brilliant for Connacht. He's closing in on Eric Elwood's all-time record. He's not far off, which is great to see. It's funny enough, the first time we played each other was only, I think, 2 years ago. I think just the way the games fell, I never got to play against him. But we had some funny interactions within the game. Had a laugh and a slag. But yeah, it was definitely weird, because as I said, I usually used to play on the same team as him, and coming out and lining up against him was different.
Is that do you know some of his ticks? Does he know things that he's going to target in your game? Does he? How do you balance that while still kind of keeping that friendship?
I wouldn't say we know each other's game unbelievably well, but just more the interaction. I think when I first ran into him, when he tackled me, or when I tackled him, it was just funny. Had a laugh on the ground, getting up after, and kind of stuff like that.
Yeah. So the Six Nations squad is convening now. I think they're going to Portugal for some warm weather training. Yeah. What's that like, being on the outside looking in when you're still kind of in recovery mode? Are you envious? What's going through your mind?
Yeah, listen, it's for me, it's still a little bit too soon to be there. So I think, obviously I want to be in my head. I want to be fit. I want to be available and go and be included in the squad. But I'll keep the head down now and make sure I get myself right. Just I know what's around the corner, and it's a big year, so I think I have a chance to just make sure everything's perfect prior to coming back, and then hopefully we'll see what happens come in the next few weeks.
And when you're down and when your confidence is a little bit lower, I know there's a huge emphasis now on mental health and player welfare and being in that right mindset. How do you kind of balance that? I know you've got plenty of, I wouldn't say distractions, but diversions through music and all other sorts. Are they good aids for you in terms of getting over the disappointment of not being out there?
Definitely, yeah. I think not staying inside, getting out for a walk with the dog is another meditation for me. Meditation as well is brilliant. Just finding a quiet space, putting the phone down. That's brilliant. It is, and I think as you said, I think mental health within the world today is a big topic. We're lucky enough that we have a good core group of support within the RFU and within Leinster. Tackle Your Feelings has been launched. It's a service that's available to all players, a counselling service. So there's people there to talk to if you are down or in need of someone to talk to. So we're making great strides forward in that sense. But I think you just have to take every day as it comes, try and stay positive, and realise, I think a big thing is realising that it's not going to be, every day isn't going to be a good day,
right?
And being able to accept that, and then make sure you try and come back in and try and flick it.
Yeah, because like the frustration, I know you've had your issues with injuries, and lots has been made of the fact that you'd come back and you'd still be the same player you were, but stringing strong string of games together was something difficult. Does that kind of frustrate you sometimes, or is it just part and parcel of being a rugby player?
No, I think it's part and parcel of being a rugby player. You just need to be able to deal with it, accept that it's the nature of the game. But yeah, it's always a player I played with previously said to me when both of us were rehabbing together, he said always look at it as a window of opportunity to develop yourself, develop your body physically, and to come back stronger and rip back into it. So I think when you're out for a prolonged period, it gives you more of a hunger to get back and to enjoy it more so.
Right, okay. You're into your 7th season at Leinster now at this stage. Are you a proper Dublin boy now, or have you still maintained your connection to the West or the Midlands? Really?
I definitely still maintain my connection. I don't get home as much. My parents definitely remind me of that. But yeah, no, I still always have time for everyone back home, and always grateful for the support that the town of Athlone has given me and will continue to give me. There's some great people there that have supported me from when I was a kid, so I'm truly grateful.
Yeah, because you're someone who clearly loves your community in Athlone. That love is very much reciprocated. How does it factor into your performances and your overall goals?
Yeah, I think when you see what it means to people around you, I'm not even saying from where I'm from, but the whole country, even across the globe, a key example of that was when we went to New Zealand, and just talking to people after that third test and seeing what it meant to people at home, seeing videos of people watch up early watching it, it almost injected a massive lift of energy and joy to the country. And we only kind of seen it when we got back in Irish soil, and then over Christmas kind of seeing snippets of I haven't watched the full documentary, but seeing bits of the documentary, and people talking to me after saying that it was unbelievable, just what we did. And I think that kind of spurs you on as a player to try and to make those memories more often, or for people to have that more often, that kind of experience and that feeling.
Yeah. Last one from me, Robbie, then. We have a big 2023 coming up. There's Six Nations, Champions Cup. It's the small matter of the World Cup later on in the year. What are your personal goals for 2023?
Yeah, so firstly get back on the pitch, and then I suppose hopefully play a part in the Six Nations, and then hopefully target the kind of finals rugby, knockout rugby stages with Leinster. Every club's ambition that's in both competitions is to win it. So yeah, personally is to be involved and have an impact positively in the group for the remainder of the year, and hopefully finish with silver.